He was only a stable boy. His name was Aaron, and he lived at the edge of the royal stables where the smell of hay mixed with the stench of alien beasts. Every morning before the sun rose, he carried buckets of water, cleaned the dirty floors, and brushed the animals that belonged to masters who never even looked at him. To the Empire, he was no one. To the soldiers, he was dirt. And to himself, he was just a boy trying to survive one more day. The Empire was ruled by aliens, tall and cruel. They had conquered Earth long ago and made humans their servants. Some humans worked in mines, some worked in fields, but Aaron was sent to clean the royal stables. He thought it was the lowest job anyone could have. Yet, something about those stables always felt strange to him. The air was heavy, almost alive, like secrets were hiding in the dark corners. One evening, after the guards left, Aaron stayed behind to finish his work. The moon shone through the cracks in the roof, throwing pale light on the empty stalls. He was sweeping quietly when he heard it, a sound that froze his heart. It was not the sound of horses or alien beasts. It was deeper, older, like the earth itself had spoken. A low growl came from the far end of the stables, behind the locked iron doors that no servant was ever allowed to open. Aaron had heard whispers about those doors. The older servant said something dangerous lived there, something the Empire feared but kept alive. Most called it a myth. But that night, the sound was real. His hands shook as he placed the broom aside. Curiosity burned inside him stronger than fear. Slowly, step by step, he walked toward the forbidden doors. The air grew hotter. He could hear breathing, heavy, tired, but powerful. He touched the lock. It was old and rusty. To his surprise, it was not sealed by any guard spell, only a simple chain. As if the Empire wanted it hidden but not destroyed. Aaron's heart raced. He pulled the chain, and the door creaked open. Inside, the room was dark, but two glowing eyes lit up like fire. Aaron stumbled back, but something held him in place. From the shadows, a massive shape moved forward, scales shining faintly under the moonlight. It was a dragon. Aaron could not believe his eyes. Dragons were stories told by humans long ago, stories the aliens mocked as foolish dreams. Yet here it was, chained, wounded, and breathing slowly. Its wings were broken, its neck bound in iron, but even in chains, its presence filled the room like a storm. Every instinct told Aaron to run, but his legs refused. The dragon's eyes locked onto his. They were not the eyes of a beast. They were old, wise, and filled with something he could not explain. Pain, but also recognition. The dragon let out a weak growl and lowered its head. Aaron saw the dry blood near its mouth. Without thinking, he ran back to fetch a bucket of water. His hands trembled as he brought it close, but the dragon did not attack. Slowly, it drank, each swallow echoing like thunder in the silent room. For the first time in his life, Aaron did not feel like a servant. He felt seen. "Why am I not dead?" he whispered, his voice barely audible. The dragon blinked slowly, then exhaled a warm breath that pushed his hair back. In that moment, Aaron felt something strange inside his mind, a whisper that was not his own. "You are not like the others." He gasped, dropping the bucket. You can speak." But there was no voice in the air. The words were inside his head. He could not understand how, but he knew it came from the dragon. Aaron backed away, his heart pounding louder than drums. This was impossible. He was just a stable boy. He was no one. Yet the dragon looked at him as if it had been waiting. Suddenly, the door behind him creaked. Aaron turned quickly, expecting guards. But it was only the wind pushing against the weak wood. He let out a shaky breath, then looked back at the dragon. It was watching him. Slowly, painfully, it lowered its head all the way to the ground. Its massive horns scraped the floor as it bowed before him. Aaron's body froze. His eyes widened. A dragon, an ancient creature of legend, was bowing to him. "No," he whispered, shaking his head. "This can't be real. I'm nobody. I clean floors. I feed animals. I'm not." The dragon's voice echoed again inside his mind, stronger this time. "You are chosen." Tears filled Aaron's eyes, not from sadness but from confusion. For years he had been treated as worthless, insulted by guards, ignored by masters. And now, here in the darkness, the most powerful creature he had ever seen was kneeling before him. He wanted to run, but his feet would not move. He wanted to scream, but his voice was gone. He could only stand there, staring at the impossible truth before him. The boy who cleaned stables was not just a boy. And destiny had just awakened. The night after Aaron saw the dragon, he could not sleep. He lay on the hard straw bed in his small corner of the stables, staring at the broken roof where stars shone through. His body was still shaking, and his mind kept replaying the moment when the dragon had lowered its head to him. It was not a dream. He could still feel the warm breath on his face, still hear the voice inside his mind, "You are chosen." But chosen for what? He was just a stable boy. His hands smelled of dung, his clothes were torn, and no one in the Empire even remembered his name. How could destiny choose him? The next morning, whispers began to spread among the other servants. They said the dragon had made strange noises in the night, like it was calling for someone. Some claimed they saw a shadow moving near the forbidden doors. The guards became suspicious. They shouted at the workers and checked every stall, but they found nothing. Still, their eyes lingered on Aaron longer than before. "Boy," one of the alien guards hissed, his voice sharp like metal scraping stone. "You didn't hear anything last night, did you?" Aaron swallowed hard. "No, master. Only the wind." The guard stared at him for a long time before pushing him aside. Aaron's heart beat wildly in his chest. He wanted to scream the truth, but fear sealed his lips. If they discovered what happened, they would kill him, or worse, kill the dragon. That night, when everyone else was asleep, Aaron heard it again. Not a growl, not a roar, but a whisper inside his head. "Come back." He sat up quickly, looking around the dark stable. No one was there. The voice was clear, like someone speaking next to him. His feet moved on their own, carrying him once more to the forbidden doors. The dragon was waiting. Its glowing eyes softened when it saw him. Aaron felt the whisper again. "You are not like them. You still carry the bond." Aaron stepped closer. "Bond? What bond?" The dragon's chains rattled as it shifted. Aaron could almost see images in his mind, flashes of humans riding dragons, soaring above clouds, flames lighting up alien armies. It was not just words, it was memories. Long ago, humans and dragons had been allies. Together, they had ruled the skies and protected worlds. But the alien empire had betrayed them. They had slaughtered the dragon riders, chained the dragons, and buried the truth. The empire wanted humans to forget their past, to believe they were weak and worthless. Aaron's breath caught in his throat. "You mean, humans were once strong? We fought with you." The dragon's voice rumbled inside his head. "Yes. And you, boy, carry their blood." Aaron shook his head. "No, you are wrong. I am just a servant. I clean floors. I am nobody. Yet you freed me. You gave me water when others gave me pain." The dragon's eyes burned brighter. "That is why the bond woke inside you." Aaron's knees felt weak. His hands trembled. For the first time in his life, he saw himself not as a slave, but as part of something bigger, something hidden. Suddenly, heavy footsteps echoed outside. The door burst open, and alien officers stormed in with spears glowing with blue fire. Aaron spun around, his heart nearly stopping. "There he is," one shouted. The boy was sneaking near the beast. Aaron tried to speak, but words failed. Two guards grabbed him roughly, pulling him back. "No. Please, I was just." The commander entered, taller and colder than the rest. His eyes were narrow slits of silver. He looked at Aaron as if studying an insect. "Interesting. The dragon reacts strangely whenever this boy is near. Perhaps he is not as useless as he looks." Aaron struggled in the guard's grip. "I didn't do anything. I swear." The commander smirked. "Then you won't mind if we test that." He ordered the guards to drag Aaron closer to the dragon. The beast growled low, the chains clanking against the walls. The guards laughed cruelly. "It will burn him alive." But when they threw Aaron forward, the dragon did not attack. Instead, its massive head lowered once again. The ground shook as it bowed before the boy, chains rattling like thunder. Gasps filled the room. The guards stepped back in shock. The commander's cold smile faded into anger. "Impossible," he hissed. "No human should have this power." Aaron looked up, fear and confusion in his eyes. The dragon's whisper filled his mind again. "Do not fear. Destiny has chosen its rider." The commander raised his weapon. "Take him to the cells. At dawn, he dies." The guards seized Aaron once more, dragging him away. He cried out, "No. I didn't choose this. I don't even understand." But the dragon's fiery eyes followed him until the door slammed shut, its chains rattling like a promise yet to come. That night, locked in the cold darkness of a prison cell, Aaron could still hear the whisper inside his head. Stronger now, clearer. You are not alone, Aaron. The blood of riders flows in you. Soon, the Empire will fear you. Aaron pressed his face into his hands, trembling. He was terrified. He was confused. But deep down, a spark had lit inside him. A spark the Empire would regret ever awakening. The cell was dark and cold. Aaron sat on the stone floor with his hands tied behind his back, shivering in the damp air. A single torch burned outside the iron bars, throwing weak light into the room. He could hear the guards laughing in the distance, their voices mocking him. To them, he was nothing more than a slave boy who had gotten too close to something forbidden. But Aaron knew the truth now. The dragon's voice still echoed in his head, even here in chains. You are not a servant. You are a rider. He shook his head, whispering to himself, No. I'm not. I can't be. I'm just a boy who cleans floors. Yet, deep inside, he felt something stirring. A warmth in his chest. A force he could not name. At dawn, the commander entered the prison. His armor gleamed silver under the torchlight, and his eyes were colder than ice. 2 guards dragged Aaron to his feet. You've caused enough trouble, boy, the commander said, his voice sharp. No human will ever control a dragon. Better to cut you down now before you inspire foolish hope. Aaron's heart pounded. Please. I didn't do anything. I don't know why the dragon looks at me that way. The commander sneered. Lies. I saw it, Bo. That beast should have burned you alive. Instead, it obeyed you. That makes you dangerous. He raised his hand, and the guards began pulling Aaron toward the courtyard where executions were carried out. The sky above was still dark, painted with the last stars of night. Aaron's chest tightened with fear. This was the end. But then he heard it. The whisper. Stronger than ever. You are not meant to die here. Trust me. The ground trembled. A roar split the air, shaking the walls of the fortress. The guards froze. Another roar followed, louder, fiercer, like fire itself had awakened. The dragon. Aaron's eyes widened as the prison walls shook. Stone cracked, dust fell, and then, fire. Flames burst through the gates as the chained dragon broke free, its massive body smashing through walls, wings stretching wide despite their injuries. Soldiers screamed and scattered. The commander shouted orders, but chaos drowned his voice. The dragon's eyes locked onto Aaron. With one great strike of its claws, it tore open the courtyard floor, breaking the chains that held it. The beast roared again, shaking the night sky. Aaron stood frozen as the guards dragged him backward. The dragon's whisper filled his mind, climb or die here. Aaron's heart hammered in his chest. Me. Ride you? I can't. You can, the voice boomed inside him. It is in your blood. Now choose. The guards tried to pull him away, but the dragon swung its tail, sending them flying like broken dolls. Aaron stumbled forward, his legs shaking. The heat of the dragon's breath washed over him as it lowered its body, inviting him onto its back. He hesitated. Every part of him screamed that this was madness. He was no warrior, no hero. Just a stable boy. But the fire in the dragon's eyes told him otherwise. Aaron's hands shook as he grabbed onto its rough scales. With a deep breath, he pulled himself up, climbing between the massive wings. The moment he sat on its back, a surge of energy rushed through him. His chest burned, his heart raced, and for the first time, he felt whole, like this was where he belonged. The commander roared in fury. Kill him! Kill them both! Soldiers rushed forward with glowing spears, but the dragon spread its wings wide. With a powerful leap, it launched into the sky, fire bursting from its jaws. The night lit up in red and gold as the fortress below crumbled in flames. Aaron clung tightly to its back, the wind tearing at his hair, the cold night air mixing with the heat of fire. Fear and wonder fought inside him. He had never flown before, never even dreamed of such freedom. The ground shrank below them, and the stars stretched across the endless sky. The dragon's voice filled his mind once more. Do you feel it? This is who you are meant to be. A rider. A leader. Tears streamed down Aaron's face. He had lived his whole life in chains, treated as nothing. But now he was soaring above the empire itself, riding the very creature they had tried to control. Below, alarms rang through the fortress. Soldiers shouted, ships prepared to launch, and the commander's furious voice echoed into the night. "Hunt them down! Bring me the boy's head!" Aaron looked back at the flames rising from the prison. Fear still gripped him, but beneath it was something stronger, a spark of courage. He was no longer just a stable boy. The dragon roared, flames lighting the sky as it carried him higher. And in that moment, Aaron realized that his life would never be the same again. The Empire would come for him. They would chase him, hunt him, and try to destroy him. But destiny had already chosen. He was bonded to the dragon. And no power in the galaxy could break that bond. Still, in his heart, one question burned like fire. If he was truly chosen, what was he chosen for? The dragon carried Aaron far from the fortress, flying through the night until the first light of dawn touched the mountains. His hands ached from holding on, and his body trembled from the cold wind. But he did not let go. He could not. The dragon's massive wings cut through the clouds, and for the first time in his life, Aaron felt truly free. At last, they landed on a rocky cliff high above the world. Aaron slid from the dragon's back, his legs weak and shaking. He stumbled, falling to his knees, gasping for air. The dragon lowered its head beside him, watching silently. Aaron pressed his hand to the rough ground, his mind spinning. "Why me?" he whispered. "Why did you choose me? I don't understand." The dragon's voice filled his head again, deep and steady. "Because you are the last of them. The blood of riders runs in your veins. The bond cannot be broken." Aaron shook his head. "I don't know anything about riders. I don't know anything about fighting. I've never even held a weapon." The dragon's golden eyes narrowed. "Then you must learn. Come." It turned and began walking toward the mountainside. Aaron hesitated, then followed. They moved through narrow paths and hidden trails until they reached a cave entrance half buried in stone. Vines grew thick around it, but when the dragon pushed them aside, Aaron saw carvings on the walls, symbols, shapes of men riding dragons, flames carved into stone. His eyes widened. "What is this place?" The dragon's voice was soft now, almost reverent. "The ruins of the first riders. Long ago, humans and dragons built sanctuaries here, far from the Empire's eyes. This is where your people trained, where they learned the bond." Inside the cave, Aaron found broken weapons, shattered armor, and faded banners. Dust covered everything, but the air felt alive, as if the past still breathed here. He touched one of the stone carvings, an image of a human raising a blazing spear while a dragon flew beside him. His fingers traced the lines, and he felt a strange warmth spread through his hand. "Why didn't anyone tell us?" Aaron whispered. "Why didn't humans remember this?" The dragon's eyes glowed in the shadows. "Because the Empire erased it. They burned your history, silenced your stories, and taught you to believe you were weak. But the truth cannot be buried forever. It lives in the blood of those who remain." Aaron's chest tightened. He thought of his mother, who had died when he was young, and his father, who had disappeared years ago. They had never spoken of this. Had they known? Or had the truth been hidden from them too? The dragon moved deeper into the cave. In the center lay a stone altar, cracked but still standing. Upon it rested a weapon, a long staff of dark metal etched with glowing runes. Dust coated its surface, but the light within it pulsed faintly, as if waiting. Aaron stepped closer, his breath caught in his throat. He felt drawn to it, as though the weapon recognized him. It has my name," he whispered. His eyes widened. The runes were not random. They formed letters in an old human script, his family name. His hands shook as he reached for it. The moment his fingers touched the weapon, a surge of energy rushed through him. The air crackled with power, and visions flashed in his mind. Humans soaring through skies on dragonback, flames consuming alien armies, a world where his people were not slaves but rulers. The force nearly knocked him back, but he held on. The weapon pulsed with light, glowing brighter as if waking from a long sleep. The dragon lowered its head. "The weapon of your bloodline. It has waited for you. Now, you must decide if you are worthy to carry it." Aaron gripped it tightly, his body trembling. "I don't know if I am," he admitted, his voice shaking. "I've always been told I'm nothing. Just a boy who cleans stables." "And yet," the dragon rumbled, "you are here. The Empire fears you. That alone proves you are not nothing." Before Aaron could answer, a sound echoed outside the cave, metal striking stone, voices shouting orders. He froze. The dragon turned sharply, growling low. "They found us," Aaron whispered, fear rising in his chest. The dragon's eyes blazed. "They will not take you. Not while I live." Aaron gripped the weapon tightly, the glow reflecting in his wide eyes. He did not know how to fight, but he knew one thing: running was no longer an option. The shouts grew louder, the sound of alien boots closing in. Aaron's heart pounded, sweat dripping down his face. He looked at the dragon, then at the glowing weapon in his hands. For the first time, he felt a spark of courage burning inside him. The stable boy was gone. Something greater was awakening. The dragon spread its wings, filling the cave with shadow and firelight. Aaron raised the weapon, his voice trembling but steady. "Then let them come." The soldiers' shouts echoed through the mountains, their boots pounding against the stone. Aaron gripped the glowing weapon tighter, his palms slick with sweat. His breath came in short gasps as fear crawled up his spine. He was no warrior, he had never fought a single battle in his life. Yet here he was, standing in the ruins of an ancient order, holding a weapon that pulsed like it had a heartbeat of its own. The dragon crouched beside him, its scales shimmering in the dim light of the cave. Its growl shook the air. "Do not fear them," the voice whispered inside his head. "You are no longer a servant. You are a rider. Trust in the bond." Aaron's legs trembled, but he nodded. "I'll try." The first wave of alien soldiers burst into the cave, their glowing spears raised. They were tall and armored, their silver eyes fixed on him with cold hatred. One of them pointed. "There! The boy! Kill him!" Aaron's heart nearly stopped. He raised the weapon clumsily, not knowing what to do. But the moment the spear struck toward him, the runes on the staff flared with light. A shield of energy burst outward, knocking the soldier back against the wall. Aaron stumbled in shock. I didn't even move." "The weapon knows you," the dragon told him. "It is part of your bloodline. It will answer your will. Use it." The soldiers roared, charging again. Aaron swung the weapon wildly, and arcs of light sliced through the air. The stone floor cracked where the energy struck. Sparks danced, and one soldier was thrown across the cave by the force. Aaron's chest heaved, adrenaline flooding his body. For the first time, he was not running. He was fighting back. The dragon unleashed a burst of fire, filling the cave with smoke and flame. Soldiers screamed as the heat scorched their armor. Aaron leapt onto the dragon's back, gripping the weapon tightly. The dragon surged forward, smashing through the cave entrance into the open sky. The morning sun blinded him for a moment, but then he saw it, the Empire's fleet hovering above the mountains. Dozens of ships, their metal bodies gleaming in the light. They were ready for war. Aaron's heart sank. "There are too many." "There will always be many," the dragon rumbled. "But we are not alone." As they soared higher, Aaron noticed movement in the distance. From the shadows of other mountains, from valleys and hidden caves, dragons began to rise. One by one, their wings spread wide, their roars shaking the heavens. Some were scarred, some still chained, but all answered the call. Aaron's breath caught. They're coming." "They have felt the bond return," his dragon said. "They know a rider has awakened. They will follow you." The Empire's fleet opened fire, beams of blue light streaking across the sky. The dragons dodged, flames shooting back at the ships. Aaron held the weapon high, and a surge of energy spread from it, forming a shield that protected them from the blasts. His arms shook under the power, but he held on. Below, in the villages scattered across the mountains, humans looked up in awe. For years they had lived in chains, their spirits broken. But now they saw a boy, a stable boy, riding a dragon with an army of beasts at his back. Whispers spread quickly, "The riders have returned." In secret corners of the Empire, hidden groups of humans began to stir. They had waited for a sign, for hope. Now, they saw it in the sky. Some called him the Chosen One. Others simply called him the Rider. Aaron could hardly believe it himself. His body shook with exhaustion, but the fire in his heart grew stronger. He was not just fighting for himself anymore. He was fighting for all of them, for every human who had ever been told they were worthless. The battle raged in the skies. Dragons clashed with ships, fire against metal, wings against engines. Aaron guided his dragon through the chaos, the weapon glowing like a star in his hands. He swung it, and arcs of energy sliced through a ship's hull, sending it crashing into the valley below. The Empire's soldiers shouted in panic. "Impossible! A boy cannot wield that power." But Aaron did. And with each strike, his confidence grew. He was still terrified, but he no longer felt powerless. As the battle continued, a shadow fell over the sky. A massive ship emerged from the clouds, larger than any Aaron had seen before. Its dark hull glimmered with deadly weapons, and its presence made even the dragons hesitate. The dragon beneath Aaron growled, its voice tense. "That is no ordinary ship. It belongs to the Empire's warlord. He will not stop until you are destroyed." Aaron's throat went dry. The fleet alone had nearly been too much. Now the Empire's strongest warrior was coming for him. He looked at the dragons flying beside him, at the humans watching from below, and then at the weapon glowing in his hands. He was only a stable boy. But destiny had chosen him, and there was no turning back. The giant ship's doors opened, and the warlord's voice boomed across the skies. "Bring me the boy and burn the rest." Aaron tightened his grip on the weapon, his eyes hard. He had run his whole life. But not anymore. "Then let him come," he whispered. The dragon roared, fire lighting the sky, as the warlord's ship descended. The sky trembled as the warlord's ship descended, its shadow covering the battlefield below. The smaller ships pulled back, forming a circle around their master. The air filled with the sound of engines, crackling weapons, and the roars of dragons circling high above. Aaron sat on the dragon's back, his hands shaking as he held the glowing weapon. The runes pulsed brighter now, as if alive, as if waiting for the moment it had been forged for. His dragon's voice rumbled in his mind. "This is the heart of destiny. Stand firm. If you fall now, hope will fall with you." Aaron swallowed hard. His body still felt weak, his heart still heavy with fear. But when he looked down, he saw the villages. Men, women, and children were staring up at him, their eyes filled with something he had never seen before, faith. They believed in him. The warlord's ship opened, and a figure stepped forward. Tall, armored in black metal, his eyes glowed like fire. His voice shook the skies. "So, the last rider child thinks he can fight me? Foolish boy. Your people are broken. Your dragons are weak. Kneel now, and I will end you quickly." Aaron's chest tightened, but he lifted the weapon higher. His voice trembled, yet it carried across the battlefield. "No. I will not kneel. Not to you, not ever." The warlord laughed, a sound colder than steel. With a single motion, he leapt from the ship, landing on the mountain peak across from Aaron. The ground cracked under his weight. In his hand he held a massive blade humming with energy. The warlord pointed it at Aaron. "Then die with your beasts." The sky erupted in chaos. The warlord's ship unleashed beams of energy, tearing through the clouds. Dragons dove to intercept, spitting fire, clawing at the metal monsters in the sky. Aaron gripped his dragon scales as they dodged blasts of burning light. He swung the weapon, and a shield of energy spread wide, protecting the dragons behind him. The warlord launched himself into the air, his blade slashing with terrifying speed. Sparks exploded as it struck Aaron's shield. The impact shook Aaron to his bones, nearly throwing him from his dragon's back. He clung on desperately, the weapon glowing brighter as it pushed against the warlord's strike. "You are nothing," the warlord roared. "Just a boy from the stables." Aaron's eyes burned with determination. "Maybe I was, but I'm not anymore," he shouted, swinging the weapon with both hands. A wave of energy blasted outward, knocking the warlord back. The dragons roared in unison, seizing the moment to attack. Fire and lightning poured from their mouths, crashing against the Empire's fleet. But the warlord was not so easily defeated. He rose again, his armor cracked but his rage greater than ever. He extended his hand, and chains of black energy shot from it, wrapping around several dragons and dragging them down. The beasts roared in agony, thrashing against the unbreakable bonds. Aaron's heart pounded. He could feel their pain through the bond. He could not let them fall. He screamed, raising the weapon high. Its runes flared, brighter than the sun. The chains shattered into shards of light, freeing the dragons. The warlord staggered, glaring at him in shock. "Impossible! That weapon was never meant for you." Aaron's dragon landed on the highest peak, wings spread wide, the mountain trembling beneath them. Aaron stood tall on its back, his voice steady now. "It was meant for whoever had the courage to rise. And I have." The warlord roared, charging again, his blade raised for the killing blow. Aaron leapt from his dragon's back, weapon clashing with the warlord's sword mid-air. The impact sent a shockwave that shook the mountains and split the clouds. For a moment, everything was silent, only the crackle of energy between them, the sparks flying, their eyes locked. The warlord's strength was immense, pressing Aaron down with every strike. Aaron's arms shook, his knees buckled, but he refused to fall. In that silence, he heard voices, not just the dragons, but many. Whispers of the riders who had come before him, their spirits bound to the weapon. Do not give up. You are one of us now. Aaron's fear melted away. His grip tightened. He shouted with all his strength, swinging the weapon in a final strike. Light exploded, a storm of power ripping across the sky. The warlord screamed as the energy consumed him, his armor shattering, his blade dissolving into dust. With a final roar, he vanished into the light. The skies cleared. The Empire's fleet, seeing their leader destroyed, broke apart. Some ships fled, others fell from the sky as dragons tore through their hulls. Silence fell over the mountains. Smoke rose in the distance, the ground littered with broken steel and shattered stone. Aaron landed softly on his dragon's back, the weapon still glowing faintly in his hands. He looked around. Dozens of dragons circled him, their eyes fixed on him. Then, one by one, they lowered their heads. Some bowed their wings, others touched the ground in respect. All knelt before him. Aaron's breath caught. He was no longer just a boy who cleaned stables. He was the rider. Below, the humans cheered, their voices rising like thunder. Hope had returned. Chains had been broken. For the first time in generations, they believed freedom was possible. Aaron looked at the weapon in his hands, then at the people below, then at the dragons kneeling around him. His voice was quiet, but it carried through the bond he shared with every dragon. This is not the end. This is only the beginning. Together, we will rise. The dragons roared in answer, their voices shaking the heavens. And in that moment, the destiny of the boy from the stables was sealed forever.